Sometimes I really hate this world. I'm just being straight up honest and raw with my thoughts. Sometimes I really hate this world. And this is coming off of me dropping my daughter off, and I had to deal with her emotional stuff that she was going on with this morning, because apparently her mom wouldn't let her pick out matching clothes. But if you really dig down deep in it, she said that her friends were going to pick on her because her clothes weren't matching the other clothes of her friends were. The reason I hate this world is because this world will value things like fashion to the point to where it causes them to be in the psyche of other people who just really just want to be loved and a part of society. That's not enough for us. We got to pick on people that aren't a part of our group. I hate this world. I really do. The Bible said that God so loved the world. He wasn't talking about this system of the world that like to evaluate themselves and pick on each other because you don't have the cool clothes. I know what bullying is like. I grew up bullied my whole entire life. And if I had the cojones that I did now, I would go tell those bullies to go F themselves. Like, cause who the hell are you at the end of the day to try to make me feel any kind of way? I know what it feels to have a heart like my daughter, because I know myself. My daughter comes from me. All we ever want is to be liked by society. All we want is love, peace, and harmony. And it's that attitude from stupid people that'll cause you to turn on yourself and cause your heart to become whole, or cause your heart to become cold. That'll corrupt a person. The reason why I hate the world is because that right there will definitely corrupt a person, because you want to be liked by society. The children, they don't know no better. But that's something that can set your life on a whole different trajectory. And I just got beef with the way the world is this morning. I really do. Because how do you raise a kid up with self-esteem when it feels like your truth and what you know, because you're on the other side of growing up, it doesn't seem to land the way it needs to with a 7-year-old. It's frustrating, man. It's really frustrating. And then some people can say, oh, the solution is, to get, your daughter all the things so that she could be happy. But then that's not really the solution, because then you're building identity in fashion. At the end of the day, this world is effed, because without identity in Christ, we're all just victims of sin. And so it's like, what is the solution? The solution is to preach the gospel with everything, with fashion, with family, with divorce, with relationships. The solution is to preach the gospel. And that's another thing that pisses me off, because it be people that supposedly preach the gospel, people that supposedly are perpetuators of a great truth of the gospel, that sing about the gospel, that preach about the gospel, that at the end of the day, your life ain't nothing. Because you preach about a gospel that you don't live. You teach about graces that don't even find themselves active in your life. So not only do I find myself hating this world, but a lot of times I find myself hating the church. And I'm not talking about the actual church that Christ built. There's a difference between the church that Christ built on the foundation of the rock of revelation himself and the church that culture builds. I have never in my life hated the church of Jesus Christ, but I've always had a beef against the church of mankind. There are two different things, and I absolutely hate the church that man builds. You do some great things, some great community works, or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, you're no different from the world. Then you want to propagate these lies and these narratives that, we've all heard. church hurt and all this other stuff. People get hurt by the church. But I guarantee you that the church that people get hurt by is not the church that Jesus built. I guarantee you, it's not. It's not. It's just not. And I really wish people would have more nuance when it comes to conversations. But you can't have nuance in conversations when at the end of the day you're trying to justify yourself. That's why you neglect to acknowledge church, neglect to acknowledge church history and all this other stuff. And just over the course of the years, I just found myself to be disenfranchised with the world and the church. Not the church that Jesus built, but the church that comes from the world. Because we say a lot, we talk a lot, we do a lot of stuff. We go on and we carry on and we do all of these things. And at the end of the day, you ain't about nothing. I can care less about the greatest prophet that knows all this other stuff. I can care less about the person that sings the best anymore. I have changed, man. I am disenfranchised with the things I used to hope and believe in, because ain't no hope and no belief in those things. It's just not. I haven't really been dealt a bad hand at life. I've lived life and I have been ungracious, and I've unfortunately dealt with ungracious people. And yet and still, I have a call in my life to love regardless and to hope the best. Not in men, but in God, in who all things are possible. It's a crazy making thing, man, because I swear, God forbid I swear, because then religious people gonna have a cow. I swear, man, I stand by everything that I said. I hate this world, and I hate the church that comes from this world, and I hate the fact that all the things that people do to try to protect the church that comes from this world. I swear, I'm a nice person. I am a nice person. But just this whole thing about my daughter and the whole fashion thing and identity thing, it just caused me to go on the trail of really thought about a whole lot of things, man. At the end of the day, I told my daughter, don't let nobody affect who she is. I already know how that will ultimately affect life, and it does. Bullying ain't cool from nobody, in no place, in nowhere. And at the end of the day, a bully is controlled by his spirit. You know? The best thing, the best advice that I can give to somebody like my 7-year-old daughter is to just be yourself. And to firm up what that even is. To do my best to tell her that she is loved, and it's not because she has the right fashion. It's not because she has the right fashion. Forget about your friends. You need to do everything perfect to be accepted by a person that you love, then maybe you don't need to be with that person. That includes everything that you can think of. It's crazy, man. Even down to the whole narrative with the LGBTQ community. That's a nuanced conversation. Because at the end of the day, a family should love you. You know, now I'm thinking about, my coworker Emerson, whose family basically disowned him because of the lifestyle of the person, because they're trans. I'm talking people that supposedly Christian that have disowned their daughter because she chose to be a boy. I pray that if that was ever me, that I would have the grace to navigate that situation in a way that doesn't further damage that soul more than it already is. But anyways, so many things, man. This world pisses me off. That's it.